Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Masterclass Marathon. We are really excited to have you guys here today with us. We are doing the thing, which is sharing information with you guys about things that you may or may not know that you actually needed to know. So welcome, Janice. Welcome, everyone who is joining. We are really excited to be here on Sunday. And if you guys are interested in coming back at another time, we do this on Saturday and Sundays. Saturdays are at 12 p.m. and Sundays, Saturday is at 12 p.m. Oh my gosh. And Sunday is at 7 p.m. So I'm waiting for my other speakers to come on in. I see them popping in. So you guys will request to be in a live, and then we'll get on together. So I'm Coach Tomeka James. I'm the host of the Masterclass Marathon. I'm excited about sharing information today from the perspective of those who want to monetize their knowledge. That's what I will be talking about today. The other speakers that are coming on all have different topics. We are all in different businesses, and I love what we do here because we share our audiences, we educate, and we also get to let people know who we are and what we actually have to offer. So all of the speakers that are coming up have 13 minutes to speak. And then they actually have 2 minutes to let you know exactly what they have to offer as well. So we are going to get rolling. Now, those of you who are watching, would you kindly share this out with a few people, at least 5 people at a minimum, and let them know to come on in and watch the Masterclass Marathon. All righty. So yeah. So once my speaker comes up on the screen, this asset that is on the screen actually goes away. And I'm sharing that with you guys to let you know that when you are doing your lives, you can put something on the screen until another person comes up, and then it erases your photo that you put on the screen. So just sharing a little bit. I like to educate as much as I can. All of us who are here today are generally entrepreneurs, and I like to give as many entrepreneurship tips as possible. Welcome, Alicia. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good, Tomeka. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to meet you on live. Oh my gosh.
Right? I feel like I've known you for a while, though, but yes, it is nice to connect.
Yes. And we're going to tell a little bit of our quick story a little bit later because I spoke about it yesterday on the Masterclass Marathon, and it really was all about how we got connected. So we'll talk about that because people do need to hear, because that's what we do as entrepreneurs. So what I will do is I will get started. Since this is your first time doing the Masterclass Marathon, I'll go ahead and do my presentation to just kind of make it easier for you. And I know that you have already seen it, but yeah. And then we do have another speaker coming up as well. So as soon as they get here, we'll let them on the screen with us. All right, so I'm going to put 13 minutes on the clock for myself. And I'm ready to go. If you guys are ready, share this live out with some folks. That's what I should do real quick, just to let a few more people know about coming in here to watch our presentations, because I love what we do. This is like one of the most beautiful things ever. All right, so I have shared it out, and I am ready to rock and roll. Let's go. All right.
Go.
Yeah. So once again, guys, I'm Coach Tomeka James. I'm a life and business coach, and having technical difficulties over here with my light turning off on me. Okay, there we go. So everyone should know anything can happen on live, anything. All right, my timer is going. So I'm a life and business coach. I absolutely love helping you to monetize your knowledge. I understand that there are some things that you actually want to share with the world, but you want to be able to and need to be able to package it up properly. So what I want to talk about today are 3 things that are needed when you are getting ready to create your course, your program, your membership, whatever you want to title it. And if you don't consider yourself to be a coach, or if you do, that is totally up to you. Titles are whatever you want them to be. But today I want to give you 3 things that need to be incorporated when you're going to when you're going to monetize your knowledge. So you have to have a system. You want to also have resources that you give to your people, and you want to create community. Now, I can tell you guys there are a host of other things that are needed when it comes to creating your course, but I just want to cover these 3 topics today. So, system. I'm going to give you guys a definition of system. There were a few definitions, by the way, but I'm going to give you two of them. It is a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. All right. The second description of it is an organized framework or method. Now, there was another one. I'm not going to read that one off. But a system, guys, if you are going to monetize your knowledge and create this course, inside your course, you need to have a systematic approach to helping your people. All day long, you could say, I want to make money, I want to help people. But what is a systematic approach to doing so? Now, one of the things that's unique about one of the programs that I offer is that I help my members of my program. They come into a program called Become a Coach. I help them before they do anything to think about who they really are, what are their positive and negative qualities. Because usually the program that you guys are creating is coming from something that you feel connected to, something you're excited about, something that you felt strong enough that you had to get out here and create something for the rest of the world because it was so important. But you have to know your own positive and negative qualities so that you can use them when you create your program. And I'm going to tell you guys, Alicia, that is going to be speaking next, I guarantee you that what she does comes from a place of something that she's attached to. Is that true or not? Yes, it is. It is. And she has something. She'll tell you guys about it. But it has to, what you share with others has to come from a place. And even if you share tips on technology, it came from a place where there was something that you either overcame or something that you now understand, and you literally want to help other people from this perspective. But when you do it, let's talk about the system. You're going to need to find a way that you're going to be able to deliver your information because of what you want to share and because of how they are going to receive it. One of the things that I do in my program is I provide and have dripped content. Okay? And that means that inside my program, when you join, you're not seeing everything. I don't want you to see everything that you need to work on because you guys are squirrels. You will pop all over the program. You guys are clicking around all over the place, clicking on every daggone thing, and you don't get to absorb the one thing before you move on to another. You don't get the opportunity to fully develop in that space before you move into another one. So for me, I absolutely love dripped content. So that's my systematic approach, delivering something every single day. Now, the program that I was telling you guys about, I have several of them. One of them is called Become a Coach, and every single day for 30 days, something is delivered. So my members get the excitement of, oh my gosh, there's a new piece of content delivered to me today. What am I working on today? So that is the systematic approach to helping them. Now, another systematic approach for me is that one of my members was actually doing her testimony, and she began to talk about one of my systematic approaches, which is that I'm going to go over something and then we're going to revisit the things that they have an issue with. I have a problem with someone not understanding and not being on the right page with whatever it is that they need to understand. I don't like people walking away being confused, lost, and just feeling lofty about what we're talking about. So I need to do these check-ins. So my systematic approach to checking in with the people in my programs is that we do week to week Q&A segments. Okay, so every week in the program, they are going to have an opportunity to ask me questions. So if you guys want to be able to be in touch with your people and to help them, my systematic approach is they have 7 days of content. And then when we get on the call, which is a live Zoom, they are able to ask me questions about their last 7 days of content. So that's my systematic approach to assisting the people in my program. So they get to talk about their last 7 days. Now, here's another thing you guys should know. One of the other things is that the content is dripped, meaning that, let's see, Alicia could join the program today. She could be in the program. She could start on, Sunday. And then Bruce could join the program on Wednesday. So Alicia's on day 1. And Bruce is gonna now, by the time he catches up to her, he's on a different day. Okay, so they will not be on the same day in the program. But my systematic approach is, what are your questions about your last 7 days? Okay, now here is the other systematic approach to the drip content and people being in on different days and having different experiences, is that they are going to ask questions according to where they are in the program. So what will happen for a person who comes behind another person, someone's going to ask a question about something that they haven't encountered yet. So they get to hear what the answers are and how the person is developing and understanding the content. Now, if someone is ahead of another person, my systematic approach is that I want to now talk about something else that we do, which is community. Okay, community is where the people in the program are able to help each other. So sometimes while we're live in a session, those who are further along may offer a little bit of assistance right then and there to someone who has not reached where they are. So this is systematic. It is an approach to helping people from many different perspectives. Okay, so let's talk more about community. What is it and why is it needed? It is the opportunity for those who are in the program to communicate with each other, to create their own bonds outside of this talking to the coach. Now, here's what you guys should know. When people usually join programs, especially group coaching programs, they join for the coach, but they stay for the community. They join for the coach, but they stay for the community. Oh my gosh. You're sitting here thinking that you as the leader, you have to support them fully all the way through. And yes, you should support your people. But what also happens is they are all in the program at different stages and they can assist each other. There's someone that's always willing to pull another person along. So you want to encourage that, and you want to make sure that you have something built out for it to actually happen. Now, so basically they learn from each other and support each other. Now, how do you create community? Even though you have these sessions where they come in and it's week to week and you guys are all there with Q&A, you could also add a Facebook group. Okay, so you're going to pick which one that you want to use to create community for your people. So Facebook group, or you can go with Slack. Okay, or you can go with Telegram. Now, there are many other platforms that you can add to the one that you already have, but these are just a few while we're here on the Masterclass Marathon that I want to share with you to help you along with being able to create community for your group. Now, inside your program, depending on the platform that you actually choose, there are many different platforms that have different things. Now, I actually do not mind sharing that I use Kartra. And one of the things inside Kartra is that Kartra has is the ability for people to leave comments. So you can add the ability for comments to be added to the program, meaning that any module that you have in there, they can type in a comment about how they're feeling. It can be a question or whatever, and people can respond right inside Kartra. If you want more communication, you might want where there's video and different things. That's where you may want to decide on using those other platforms which provide video and different things, and they can communicate on a different level. So it's totally up to you for how you want to have them to connect. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, my third thing today, is resources. Inside your program that you create, you want to have resources. I promise you, as amazing as you are, you don't have all the answers. You don't know everything. And there is someone out there in the world that is delivering pieces of what you want to share without you having to deliver it. Now, let me share something that I do inside my programs. I literally go into my program, and I do, on occasion, we do these motivational moments where I will pull something maybe from YouTube and I will play it right in the program and we'll discuss it. So that's one of my systematic approaches to creating community, and also creating like the ability for people to feel good and to think about their position in where they are with what they're working on at the time. Okay. Another thing is that I will go and pull different YouTube videos that are public pieces of content that help people to understand the message I want to share. So if I want to share like how to create a Canva post or something like that. Now, I teach those things myself, But if I wanted to share that, and someone on YouTube did Canva from the phone or Canva from wherever they wanted to create this content from, I would go and pull that link and drop it inside the program and share it with my members. It's already public. So you're not doing anything illegal. You're just sharing something that you think is amazing for other people. Okay. So those are some of the things that I do. Now, resources are locate people that they need to get in contact with. So let's just say if you help people to get through trauma or something like that, and you know of some therapists that could assist them, you're going to drop the resource of the therapist. What's their name? What's their information? If there are places that people need to go to do things, to find things, you're going to drop locations. You're going to put where. If there is a how, as I was just saying, that you have found, you can literally drop that information in. And I also spoke about motivation as a resource as well. So sometimes I will pull a link, and I might play it during the program, but then I might also, not might, I do, drop the same link inside the program, because what if they want to hear that motivational clip again in their spare time? So these are some of the things that I literally add into my program that I wanted to share with you. If you are going to help others by you monetizing your talents, if you're going to help to move them from one space to another, you need to know how to properly create your course. Now, I have a load of other pieces of information that I could share with you, but that is what I have for you today. So I believe my timer is getting ready to go off. I did really good with my timing today. All right, so I am going to spend, my time is going to literally go off in 2 seconds. All right, I'm going to spend now 2 minutes just letting you guys know more about how you can connect with me. So once again, I'm Coach Tomeka James. I'm a life and business coach, and I absolutely love helping you to monetize your knowledge, taking what you know, packaging it up properly, and being able to help others no matter what your level of expertise is. And how can I help you? So we can work one-to-one, or we can work in one of my group programs. So one-to-one, you're going to need to book a call. So just book it right after we get off of this live, if you feel like you want us to talk about where you are and to see if I can assist you. And I work with you for 8 weeks. So that's what I can tell you about one-to-one. I don't take a lot of one-to-one clients, I'll tell you that now. And I mostly work in my group coaching programs. The one that I really want to tell you about right now is Become a Coach. Whether you take on the title of being a coach, or whether you are just a person who just wants to help others, Become a Coach is titled that, but it is a program that will help you to see more about who you are. Then we move into what it is that you're going to share with others. Then I have a systematic approach for you figuring out how you're going to show up to the world, especially on your social media. And then we create your program by determining who you are and what goes into the program based upon what you want to share. So that's pretty much it for right now. So send me a quick DM if you actually want to get into the course. You can DM me the word course. And you'll also have an opportunity to book a call from there if that's what you like to do. All right. I am closing out of my presentation. I thank you all for joining me today. Please give me a quick follow by clicking the arrow at the top if you desire to follow me. No begging for follows. It is if you feel like we connect, then you should connect. Thank you guys for listening today, and you are on the Masterclass Marathon. All right. We're bringing Bruce Hill back on the screen. All right, I'm doing good. I stopped before my time. I was finished early. All right, Alicia, would you like to do your presentation now?
Sure, I could go next. Hi, Bruce. Nice to connect with you.
Hey,
and Tomeka, I just wanted to go ahead.
Go ahead. You say what you're gonna say, and then I'm gonna say something.
Okay. Well, I was just wanting to thank you for, inviting me on to be a part of your community. I'm excited today to just kind of share what we've been in the trenches doing over here. So excited to share that.
All right, awesome, awesome. Now, Bruce was raising his finger up. So, it's Sunday and he was doing the church. Excuse me, pardon me. Bruce, did you want to go next? Did you need to go next? Bruce? Hello? I can't hear you. It's frozen again, Bruce.
Quick audio and connection test.
Okay. I said, did you want to go now? Did you need to go now for any reason? You want to check your connection? Okay. Maybe Bruce can switch to another connection. So while he's getting that together, because he always has some great information to give out. So we will figure that out. Alicia.
Thank you. And I'm with Janice in the chat. She's talking about she wowed working on a canvas thumbnail. Listen, I feel like I eat, breathe, and sleep on Canva, okay? But we will hold off on that thought for now. But good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in with us. My name is Alicia with 828 Concepts, and we facilitate and engage couples to help preserve and to preserve love and connection in their relationships. So I'm excited today to share with you how we do that, why we do that, and how you can connect with us to be a part of this mission, if you would. But by a show of hands, and Tomeka, before I go on any further, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes.
You good? Okay, perfect. But by a show of hands, and Tomeka, you too, if you want to participate. But how many of you were in a relationship or know someone who was in a relationship and they broke up and the reason was because they grew apart, right? How often do we hear? Right, exactly. It's one of the most common reasons, and sometimes valid. I'm not going to discount it. Sometimes it is valid. But we are in the space of preserving love and connection, and we try to be proactive about it. We have a mantra or a motive, if you would, is you could either intentionally grow together or you could gradually grow apart. And this came about, you guys are going to laugh a little bit or maybe even give me the side eye, but just stay with me a little bit because this was birthed out of my own divorce. So a few years ago, I went through my own divorce and my parents were divorced after 33 years. I know you guys are wondering, what do you divorce over after 33 years? You might as well just stick it out, right? But anyway, so they divorced. I also divorced. So I experienced what it's like to being a space. What I learned about going through a divorce is they offered more support in getting a divorce than they did in maintaining the relationship. And that was always, that stuck with me. I was curious to know why and if folks had resources to help them along the way, right? After the wedding, after the I do's and the crowd goes home, after years of inevitable change and season changes, how would that change not just our households, but how would that also change our communities? So we create a couple ways that we interact with couples, and we don't believe that maintaining a relationship has to be heavy or boring or stiff, right? It could be fun, it could be engaging, and more importantly, Tomeka spoke to this earlier, we want to create a community for it because we know, A, representation matters. Hello. And when you're going through a relationship or a marriage, there is some things that maybe you haven't experienced yet that someone has gotten over and can tell you how to overcome that. So what's great about our community is that we focus on group share. So everyone has a voice, everyone is included, and it's really empowering when you see someone married 20 years giving advice to someone who's been married for 2 years, or even people who's been married for 2 years that have different dilemmas or scenarios that could impact a couple who's been married for a long time. So it definitely creates a bond within the bond of the household. So 2 things that I want to talk to you about today. The main one is a workbook that we created called Upkeep. Ooh, ooh. So we created a practical workbook because we wanted to take the guesswork out of how do you maintain a marriage or how do you maintain a relationship? If I was to ask you all, how do you go about maintaining your relationship? I'm curious to know. You could go ahead and type it in the chat because I would love to review some of those comments. How do you go about maintaining a relationship today if you're in one? And even if you're not in one, how are you preparing to be in a relationship, right? We do so much to care for our cars. We get changes and maintenance checkups on our cars to get to where we need to go. We are supposed to, hopefully you are, but we're supposed to get yearly physicals to check on our physical health. What is in place to make sure that we are being proactive about maintaining our most intimate and most important relationships? So in the time that I have, I will be so excited to walk you through the experience of Upkeep. Again, it's a practical, interactive guide. It's only 30 pages, y'all, so don't act crazy. It's only 30 pages, but it's chock full of thought-provoking points. And what we did, we surveyed men and women to find out, what do you think are the top areas that impact relationships today in 2022? What are the areas? And what's great is we were able to hone in on the top 10 areas that are impacting relationships. So I'm just going to share some of them with you. And if you agree with any of them, go ahead and give us 100%, give us some fire, thumbs up, whatever, however you want to relate to it. But let us know if we capture something. But the subjects that we cover in Upkeep is communication. We know, right, communication. Us care, which is the care of the relationship, and I'll talk more about that in just a few. Support, respect and consideration, physical care, sex and intimacy, because don't we know those are two different things? Hello. Stress management, financial care, social media etiquette. We cannot assume, look, we see the hundreds going up right now. Social media etiquette, we need to talk about it. And then spiritual care. So all of this is a temperature check on how you're showing up in those areas. So I'm gonna walk you through how to do it. And what's great is that we know that not everyone is comfortable going to therapy, right? Not everyone is comfortable bringing in a counselor. A lot of the guys that I surveyed, they feel automatically like when they go to a counseling session with their lady that they're the bad guy. You know, so there's a lot of things that we're still working. Therapy is still new for our community, right? Like we're still trying to embrace it and we're doing better, but not all of us are all the way there with therapy. So what's great about this workbook, it brings therapy to your living room. It brings therapy to your bedroom. It brings therapy wherever you are to assess how you are showing up in love. So some tips to get started with Upkeep. Now, this is if you are going to upkeep with your partner. If you're upkeeping by yourself, here's some things to consider. Set the mood and create the space to be open-minded. You really have to prepare your heart and mind to be honest and to do some self-reflection, right? It's so easy for us to look, and I'm guilty of this. Listen, I'm not coming here. I am not coming on this live like I have all the solutions. I'm currently remarried to a great guy who's very understanding, but I still don't have all the answers. And there's times where he has to check me like, ma'am, that is not how you upkeep. So just know I'm also a work in progress, but I'm in the trenches with you. So to get started, some things that you want to do is, again, just prepare your heart and mind and just get ready to receive and just to be honest. And then another thing you don't want to do, and this is for my ladies, please don't go to your fellas saying we need to talk. You shut that whole thing down already, right? Do not. Don't do it. But also remember to give feedback to your lover or even to yourself in the way that you would want to receive feedback. There's a way that you can be honest, but still out of love. And this is not to tear down. This is to create awareness. And this is to not just identify your areas of opportunity, but it's also to celebrate your areas of strength. So I just want to encourage you when you're given the feedback to be mindful and have examples if you can. Another way is please be mindful of delivery and tone. Okay, yeah, y'all already know. Be mindful of delivery and tone. Try to do it where there's no distractions, no TV, or I even recommend going outside of the norm. Take a picnic, If you're in South Florida like we are, you could go to the beach and do it. I mean, do it over dinner or lunch, like, but don't do it when the kids are home from school and the house is okay. No, you want to create the space for this. Probably one of my main ones is please don't do this hungry. Listen, let me tell you something. If y'all try to do upkeep hungry, it will offset the whole purpose of it, okay? You know, hunger creates a different type of animal in us. So don't do it hungry. And then decide ahead of time when you want to do your next check-in. What's great about the maintenance on our car is that we know when we hit a certain amount of miles that it's time to go back in for another oil change. Set that expectation with yourself and your partner to say, hey, we're going to do this today. And then in 6 months, we're going to revisit it just to see how we're progressing along. Tomeka, how am I doing so far? 3 minutes left? Ooh, let me hurry up, y'all. You know I get passionate about this. So we took a rating scale. If you're in corporate, you know about rating scales. If you took a survey, you know about rating scales. What we did is a 4-point rating scale. So number 1 is unsatisfied. Number 2 is improving. Number 3 is satisfied. And number 4 is outstanding. We left out 5 because usually people try to do a 3 and that won't tell us nothing if you're landing in the middle, right? So we want to know, how are you showing up in the different areas that we talked about? So that's the rating scale. So I just want to give you an example of what that would look like. And I'm going to jump to communication because that's usually our top one that everyone uses. And Tomeka, I'm going to borrow you along with the folks that are in the chat. I want you guys to answer honestly. That's the only way to do this. And this is a safe zone. There's no judgment here. But when I read off a behavior, I want you to rate yourself. Do you show up a 1, 2, 3, or 4? Remember, 1 is unsatisfied and like you slacking altogether. And a 4 is that you're outstanding. You're a master in that category, okay? So for the first one, communicates needs and wants clearly and effectively. How would you rate yourself there? Would you be a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? What do you think, Tomeka? You would give yourself a 3? Okay. And I know it's a little bit delayed in the chat, so we're going to allow some time to come in. I'm going to just jump to a second one so you guys can get an understanding. So eliminates assumptions with open and honest dialogue. Ooh, Tomeka said, there's no nonsense over here. We're a 4. Okay, I like it. But that is an example of how to engage in upkeep. So you can ask your partner, you guys could do it together, you could do it separately, compare your answers. But what's great is whether you are single and preparing for a relationship, whether you are dating purposely, or you're married and want to be intentional about keeping the love alive, Upkeep helps you, takes the guesswork out of making sure your marriage or your relationship is on point. Lastly, before we go, Tomeka touched on resources, and I'm so glad she did, because what's great about stepping out and doing something passionate is that you don't have to know everything and you don't have to have all the answers. So, resource circle. What is included in here is love languages. Never assume that someone even knows what love language is or that they know theirs. And if you have taken the love language more than 2 or 3 years ago, I highly recommend taking it again, because seasons change, people change, our needs change. So what you needed back then, pre-COVID, hell, even, 2021, might be different than what you're needing today. So I always encourage folks to do your love language quiz, communicate it to your partner, and also seek to understand what theirs is. There's also a quiz in here on attachment styles. Y'all, let me pre-warn you, that's not for the lighthearted, okay? Attachment styles? Yeah, that one, yeah. Personalities. There's one in here to learn how your personalities are alike and how to interact and connect on a deeper level. Remember, again, upkeep is not about you guys being the same. Being the same is not the goal in relationships. It's really about learning each other's differences and being able to celebrate them. And then another one that I recommend, and some of you may have seen the commercials, Skin Deep. Skin Deep is a great card game that provokes questions, and it's great to keep them in the car. It's great to just have them laying around the house doing one or two a day. It allows you to engage intentionally. So that is another resource that I always recommend to couples when I'm working with them to include in their repertoire. Tamika, how am I on time?
Yeah, time's up. But I wanted you to finish those statements. It was like not even worth it to break in there. So, yeah, that was really good.
Huh?
Yeah, that was really good. Great stuff
Thank
there. And I know you didn't even get through most of that book. So at this moment in time, we're going to give you 2 minutes on the clock to tell us more about how we can get in touch with you, how people can get connected to the program that you have, how they can get your book, all of that stuff. How does it work? Tell us about you. 2 minutes on the clock.
All right, here we go. I might need a timer on the screen so I don't go over, but link is in my bio, and you'll see everything there from, of course, the website, how to reach us. You'll see how to order your own Upkeep. But then you'll also see something juicy in there. And I know you're going to be like, Alicia, what is that? Couples Field Day, baby. Couples Field Day is a fun and unique experience that we created just for couples. Living here in South Florida, we were like, why should singles have all the fun, right? So we wanted to create something just for couples to come together. They compete in friendly competition. We have prizes, we have medals, like they do activities that promote teamwork, problem solving, communication, but it's all wrapped in fun. So they don't even know they're working on their relationship, but they are. And what's great is that we give away some prizes to like the first, second, and third place winners. We were able to host our first one in Denver last summer, which was super exciting. This will be our first one in Miami, but our fourth one in South Florida. So we've been giving some attention to Broward. It's time to come to Miami. So we hope the folks in Miami show up. We're excited to host you on June 25th. You can get your tickets now on eventbrite.com. And just for y'all, you can get $30 off with the code LOVEBETTER.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Yeah, you made it before the timer. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is as if they can't see, but what is your IG page? And also, guys, it's right at the top. Click the arrow at the top, and you can connect with her. But say it verbally for anyone who's listening.
Yeah, of course, 828 concepts. So it's 8 spelled out and then 28. It's my favorite Bible scripture, Romans 8:28, and it's also my birthday, Team Virgo, 828 concepts on Instagram and on Facebook and on TikTok. Jesus. Yeah.
That's good. Very consistent. It's funny because I was going to definitely ask you what was the origin of the name. So thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. Awesome. But we lost Bruce. I don't think he's still here. We lost Bruce, and Bruce was one of our speakers this evening. He was having issues with Wi-Fi. Bruce is here. Hey, Bruce, come on in. Bruce, request to be in alive again, man. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, Bruce. Let me see. He'll be back in. Come on in, Bruce. He's right on time. All right, you're going to have to request, though, because I can't see you right now. So, yeah, that was great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing those tips on relationships. And, you know, I got a little FOMO because, you know, as I already sent you a message, you know, I can't come because I'm not in a couple yet. But I can only imagine the amount of fun that you guys are having over there at your events and just everything that you're doing. I can only imagine. So listen, if you guys want to come on down to Miami on what you said, June 25th, on June the 25th, get a flight, y'all. It's only a flight. Come and be here and do the couples thing and have a good time. Get to know your mate a little bit more. And one of the things you spoke about this evening, as you asked that question about people not staying together, people tend to think someone was getting their tail whooped, someone cheated. People think all of these things are the culprit of the relationships falling apart. And sometimes it is people just grow apart. And I love that you have a systematic approach to helping people to understand
Yeah.
what it looks like to not fall into that category, because
Yeah.
the more communication you have, the easier it is to stay connected. And it is real that people do. I mean, in my case, that was it. That's why I was like, sure, ask
Yeah.
me and it's fine, because, and yeah, that was my case. Literally
Yeah.
was it. I was with my ex for, oh my gosh, for 22 years before we separated.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my
22
God.
years, and we were married for 13. So it was
Oh,
22 years of my life, and we literally got,
yeah.
grown and older, and it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's real what you were talking about. And we
Mm-hmm.
actually did do all of the things like the counseling and all that stuff to see if we
Mm-hmm.
could continue on. But at that point, it was like, but I
Yeah.
love that you're helping with that, because marriage is beautiful. Marriage is
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful things on this earth. And I just love that you're helping to cultivate those great relationships. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And I got to give you credit because there's so many people who have gone through relationships that haven't been successful and they allow bitterness to take over. And I'm really proud of you that you didn't let that consume. You have bitterness stages, right? But you could decide whether or not that's going to be your legacy or if that's what you want to, be remembered as. But I'm glad that even the healing for you has taken place. And and for myself included, it took some time to get over that, but anything is possible. And I'm hopeful that we can make togetherness cool again. Like, that's, I mean, as basic as that sounds, like it's needed. The representation is needed, the support is needed. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you thinking well of this vision.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, for real. And you said make togetherness better again. Do you say that a lot? Because I love that tagline. You do?
I
Oh,
do.
yeah. Please.
I do. But as a coach, you tell me I need to say
Yes,
it more.
please continue to say it, because I think
Okay.
it's a powerful statement, and it just
Yeah.
encompasses exactly what you do, and it really is
Mhm.
powerful. And it's funny
Thank
that
you.
I was talking to someone recently about they were going through something in their relationship, and it was basically, I think I heard it right, that they were kind of messing around, and they were trying
Okay.
to figure out how not to do that. And the one thing that I know is when you are when you have that togetherness and you're happy with your mate and you guys have great communication, and there's so much that you are connected on, and you understand each other, and you take the good in with the bad and all of that other stuff, you're able to stay together, and you don't look outside. You don't
Yeah.
have a reason to look outside, because
Mhm.
you know that things are going well at home, and even when they don't, you know how to communicate to just kind of get things back on track, because it's all about communication. Usually there's a misunderstanding, or someone has changed a little bit and the other person didn't really catch up to the changes, and no one's communicated it. But when people communicate,
Yeah.
all of these things can just be alleviated. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
was talking to this person, and I was like, it was just a day, and I was like, I'm not saying nothing else, but I already know what they needed. They needed to communicate with their partner so that they
Mhm.
can determine what is still there and what else needs to be added, or what all of that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just what is needed in this season. Like I said, the seasons change, and what may have worked, a couple years ago or even a couple months ago, the seasons change. And it's so important to just periodically ask your partner, what do you need from me in this season? How can I best support you? What has changed? What feedback do you have for me? I know we talk about that in our professional arenas. Why aren't we bringing that same thing to our relationships? But again, it's also about delivery, and it's also making sure that even in the tough conversations, that it's done out of love. It doesn't mean you'll always agree, but if your intentions are out of love, you could get a lot accomplished there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that reciprocation. And even though you just touched on that, we do it in business, but I think sometimes on the opposite end, people don't do this in business enough, which is why people have
Mhm.
issues. So it goes for
Good
business
point.
and for personal, because the more that people communicate, the more that everyone really literally understands where everyone is. What is
Yeah.
everyone's position at this moment in time? Forget about, like you said, 3-6 months ago. And you know, you mentioned the pandemic. Listen, the pandemic made new people. You know, it made everyone, turn everyone to a new person. Like, people see the world differently today. So
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
yeah, like, okay, for real. So yeah, I love the work that you're doing. So guys, will you please make sure that you give her a quick follow? Bruce, if you're here, please request to be in a live so we can let you speak. And click the arrow at the top if you want to stay connected to your pages. 828 what?
Concepts.
828
Yep.
concepts. Yes. Make sure that you get in touch with her. And if you guys want to come down, make it a trip. Listen, if you're in a couple, y'all better not be just in the house by yourself. Y'all need to come outside. Come outside. For real. That's what makes things work. Listen, I know what makes it work. You know, I just had my own situation, and life brings us what it's supposed to bring us to. And I think that's one of the things that I actually understand, that there are things that occur in life that are just supposed to be the way that they are. You're not meant to fight and battle every single thing. You just have to, know what someone said earlier, pick your battles basically. But that communication piece you're talking about, it could change everything. So yeah. So all right. I don't know if Bruce is here. We just had just a few speakers for today. So if he is not here, let's chat about how we got connected.
Oh, fill him in. This is a good one, y'all.
Yes. So guys, I was out doing a content day with another coach, and who is in the same arena as myself. And we decided to, as two entrepreneurs, to go out and do content day together. So instead of us holding our own camera, instead of us hiring on that day, which we do hire photographers, but instead of us doing that day, we decided to go out and shoot for each other. Well, while we were out showing up as we are as entrepreneurs, these two guys walked by and they were like, hey, what are you guys up to and what business are you in? They clearly knew that we were in business based upon how we were shooting content. So take what you take from this message, grab a friend, go outside, whatever. So we were doing that, and then they came over, and then immediately we started just talking about what we were into, what was going on, and that we're going to this conference coming up. And then one of the guys said, oh, a friend of mine is going to that same conference, and I love to connect you guys and all of these special great things. And they connected us on the spot. So guys, connections happen all over the place, but I really believe that they happen when you decide who you are as a person, as an entrepreneur, and you show up as your true self wherever you go. There's a glow all over you based upon who you are and what you do. So they came over, and literally that was it. There was nothing else that happened. They were like, let's connect. And they did a connection through a WhatsApp group, and then we connected and we started communicating. So I don't know what else you may want to say about the connection, but you can share whatever.
4 days. 4 days from the time the WhatsApp chat was created to us connecting here live on Instagram. So it doesn't even take long either. It just takes being intentional.
Yep. And our conversation was, tell me more about yourself. And it was basically, we really have to, and for us, we're in the same area. I don't know where you live. Don't tell us on this live, but I know that we're in the same vicinity. So I do know that much. And, you have to connect with people who are right around you. I always hear this thing, oh, people are not supportive in the same area, and people tend to believe they got to go all the way outside somewhere. No, you don't. It's just about your intentions of connecting with other like-minded folks. That's it. So yeah.
It's so true. So big up to Andy if he's able to tune in. I appreciate the connect, Andy, and anyone else that came over from 828. I appreciate you jumping into this master class here with Tomeka. And to me, this is an amazing platform where you're sharing your space with others and really educating us on things that we didn't know. As long as we always stay a student, our lives can really improve beyond our measures. So the space you're creating is so needed and it's so welcoming too. So thank you. Everybody's not ready to jump on live, but you create a space that's inviting and productive. And so thank you for that.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So I'll get ready to close us out with letting those of you who are watching know that you can be a speaker here on the Masterclass Marathon. All it takes is going to masterclassmarathon.com, or you can click the link in my bio and you can just register yourself. At this moment in time, there are no fees. It is all about connecting those who need to have other people to see them. And you may already have 100,000 followers, but could you get 100,001? Absolutely. And every single new person that you make a connection with is valuable to you, and you may just be valuable to them as well. So I just believe that we literally have to show up and share our expertise with other people. And we also need to connect our audiences as well. So that's pretty much it. That's what I do. And that's what we're doing here on the Masterclass Marathon. We're here on Saturdays and Sundays. So if anyone wants to speak, sign up. And don't be shy. This is a very natural place. It's live. Things happen. Bruce got kicked out because of Wi-Fi. I mean, everything happens. So it's live, and you don't have to feel like you have to do this very tight presentation, but we're here to share our knowledge with others. So that's pretty much it. We'll close out. And sometimes we have a slew of speakers where there are, what we do is have up to 8 to 10 speakers when we do this. So that's the max that we cover, and it just depends on who signs up. There were actually some speakers on for today that opted to go to a different day. So that was kind of one of the things that occurred today. But that's how many that we actually have that can come on at a time, and then we close it out. All right, that's it. Have a good night. Nice to meet you in person or live, and see you
too. See you in a couple weeks.
All right, see you soon. All right, bye guys.
Bye everyone.